So after 4.5 months, Street Fighter V Story Mode is finally here. The question now is, was it worth the wait?
You must find this man, and take the piece he has. You are going to need it. If you want to defeat Bison, you do want that. Nice to meet you, Charlie Nash.
The story picks up with a newly revived Charlie Nash seeking revenge on Bison for what happened to him in the Alpha series. At the same time, Rashid is searching for a close friend that fell into the ranks of Shadowloo. The story juggles many threads and ultimately finds the good guys uniting to take down Bison and Shadowloo once and for all, while other sinister forces are mysteriously at work behind the scenes. The quality of the story for the most part itself is solid, even if it can venture into nonsensical territory at times. However, it's to be expected and in some ways is part of the charm of Street Fighter. On the whole, however, it's reasonably entertaining. There is a lot of fan service and each character gets a moment to shine over the 3 to 4 hour long story.
Appreciate it, Chun-Li.
It's my pleasure.
Unlike in past games, the story mode is a fully animated and voice-acted feature, but in this new territory for Capcom comes some newfound strengths, but also some more noticeable weaknesses. The voice acting has never been highly praised, but this story mode means that we're hearing these performances more than ever. The voice acting varies from pretty good, Ruben Langdon's Ken, Laura Bailey's Chun-Li, Caitlin Glass's Cammy, and Ian Sinclair's Rashid, to cringy, with some terrible performances for characters like Ibuki, voiced by Cat Steele, and Laura, voiced by GK Bose. Their voices making you want to cover your ears at times. Charming this is not.
Arrogance? I've been working here longer than you have, and then you come in acting all bossy.
Yeah. However, the option is always there to go with the Japanese cast instead, and thankfully characters like Laura don't have too many lines. The dialogue itself for the most part is fine, however there are some cringy wooden moments that almost seem like they were put through Google Translate. Like I said though, it's serviceable and it's rarely distracting. Moving on to the visual side of things, the character models look good despite some hiccups when it comes to elements like hair or flowing fabric. There is often clipping and it can take you out of the experience. Sometimes you'll be witnessing your character's hair doing some crazy things. As for some of the background textures, they can be lacking, and the quality of the non-playable character models is often significantly worse. However, it must be said that work has clearly gone into this. There are a lot of story-specific characters and stages, which is much appreciated. The new roster additions such as Ibuki, Balrog, Juri and Urien are a lot of fun, although Juri and Urien still have depth and fine-tuning to be done before they become permanent additions. Still, it's very cool of Capcom to allow us to play them way in advance. It was a nice surprise, and speaking of that, this story mode is full of them. There are also a lot of surprise cameos in the game, which is very cool, especially for huge fans of the franchise. The fan service is definitely strong with this one. That's not to say that the story mode doesn't have other problems, however. One of the problems with story mode, much like the previous single player content in Street Fighter V, is that matches only consist of one round. The matches are just never long enough to get anything going, and it means that it's hard to ever get a feel for the new additions like Juri and Urien. The only option is to select a specific mission and to just keep replaying it, but it's still unfortunately only one round per match. Of course, those characters are incomplete in their current state, but it would still be nice to be able to spend more time in matches with the roster available. Back to the story, and one character that ends up being useless unfortunately is Necalli. Since his reveal at EVO 2015, fans had been speculating on his background and his role within Street Fighter V, but unfortunately he is a complete disappointment. We learn almost nothing about him, he's barely in the story, and in the end he doesn't leave an impression. The other villains of the game get a chance to shine, but unfortunately the same cannot be said for Necalli. So, back to our initial question then, was it worth the wait? Despite its flaws, I think the answer is a resounding yes. In the end, the story does what longtime fans had hoped, which is that it ties up loose ends and perfectly transitions into what we saw in Street Fighter 3. At the same time, it also offers more casual players a chance to experience more single-player content, which can only be a good thing. The content is lengthy and fills the Street Fighter fan in me with even more optimism for the future, because this is a great start for Capcom in what was uncharted territory. I've never been someone that felt the need for such content in a fighting game, but if Capcom continues to deliver it like this, then count me in.